Hi, everyone. We are continuing our work today in topic 13. We're going to move on from capacity and now focus on weight. So, we are very familiar in our life with weight. Okay, we get weighed quite frequently when we visit the doctors. Many students in schools get weighed by their school nurse as a way to keep track of their health and well being. When we go to the grocery store, we might be weighing some of the produce and foods that we buy. Okay, so weight is measuring how heavy something is. So, in the customary system of measurement, and remember, we're focusing on the customary system for right now, that's the system that we use here in the United States. So, for the customary units for measuring weight, there are three different terms or vocabulary words that you are going to need to know. You are going to need to know ounce, pound, and ton. Okay, so the picture that you're seeing here is designed to help you get a better idea of just how much these would be. So obviously 1 ounce, the first one that you're seeing is the smallest one. Okay, 1 ounce would be about the weight of a strawberry. So obviously not very heavy at all. Okay, 1 pound is the weight in the middle. Okay, a pound would maybe be the weight of a very small pineapple. I bet a lot of pineapples are actually a little bit more than a pound. One thing I know in my family that we use frequently is lunch meat, and we buy lunch meat or cheese from the deli counter by the pound. So if you can picture maybe lunch meat or something like that, that would be about a pound. A lot of times when you buy ground meat or chicken, that comes in a pound. Okay, so larger than a strawberry, okay, weighs more than a strawberry, but still not a whole lot, okay? In weight, in the customary system, we wind up jumping pretty dramatically from pounds to tons, okay? We measure things using pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds. It's the most common, okay? But then when we get to really heavy objects, we think about a ton. And a ton is when you want to start thinking about a vehicle or something really heavy, okay? So some of the conversions that you're going to need to be familiar with, okay? And you will have these in your math chart. For every pound, there are, let me change my colors here. For every pound, there's 16 ounces. And in every ton, there's 2,000 pounds. So you're going to need to remember these conversions as you work today. So go ahead and find your math book. Open up to page 691 where you see lesson 13-3. Okay, we are working on equivalence, so converting units back and forth, working with the customary units of weight. So let's take a look at our solve and share situation. So here we go. When Lori was born, she weighed 7.5 pounds. There are 16 ounces in every pound. What was Lori's weight in ounces? Solve this problem any way you choose. Okay, so let's come down to our workspace. What do we know from the problem? Well, we know when Lori was born, she weighed 7.5 pounds. Now, you're going to notice I'm abbreviating pounds using LBS. You would think the abbreviation for pounds would start with a P, but it does not. It comes from a Latin word, libras, and that is the abbreviation that we use for pounds. Okay? So we know at birth she weighed 7.5 pounds. We're trying to figure out what that would be in ounces. The abbreviation for ounces is OZ period. Okay, so now let's go back to what we know using our conversion chart. Okay, and you'll see there is a conversion chart in your math book right here on your visual learning page. Okay, 1 pound has 16 ounces. So let's go back to the solve and share. 1 pound has 16 ounces. So we have 7 pounds. So that's 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces, 16 ounces. Well, no one wants to sit and add 16 7 times. So we're going to use our multiplication. Okay. So there's 16 ounces per pound. We have 7 pounds. Great time to pull out a calculator. If you don't have a calculator or you're trying to challenge yourself and do the computation on paper, yay! Okay, set up a vertical equation and go ahead and solve it. So 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 4. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm at 112. Now, here's what's a little bit tricky here. That's only for the 7 pounds. We still haven't done anything with our fraction. So now here's what we have to think about. We know 1 pound has 16 ounces. So we need to now think about, well, what's half of that? This is why it's so important to know your math facts. If you know your math facts, you know that half of 16 is 8. Okay, and I know that because 8 times 2 gives me 16. So half of a pound in ounces is 8 ounces. So what we now have to do to get our final answer is we have to add 112 plus 8. If you can do that mentally, go right ahead. If you need to write an equation, do that. And that gives us the final answer of 120 ounces. So, as you're working through this today, something I want you to be mindful of, you have a conversions chart right here on the visual learning page. Put that to use, okay? So, let's continue working together, and you're going to see I have blank paper here because I'm going to need scrap paper to do multiplication. So, it's a good idea, if you don't have scrap paper, pause the video, go find some, and then when you're ready, hit play again. Okay, so let's continue working. We're going to take a look at number 1, 2, 3, and 4 together. Okay, so follow along with the video as you work on these. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so number 1, would it make sense to describe the total weight of Mark's dinner in tons? Why or why not? Well, let's think about this. When we're thinking about tons, we're thinking about something that's the size of a car. Do you think Mark's dinner is the size of a car? No. Okay. So the answer to this question, does it make sense to describe the total weight of Mark's dinner in tons? No, because a ton represents a very heavy amount. Okay, it would be a little ridiculous to measure his dinner using tons. Okay, so let's get now to the conversions where we're changing from one unit to another. Okay, so don't forget about the conversions chart on the last page. So for number 2, we're going from tons to pounds. Okay, we're going from a really, really big unit to a small unit. So if you look back towards your conversions chart, you're going to see that 1 ton has 2,000 pounds. So I'm going to use my scrap paper here. I know 1 ton has 2,000 pounds, sorry. And in problem number 2, we have 9 tons. So I'm going to use multiplication, okay? Now, guys, see all the zeros. Don't forget about the zeros trick. This is totally a zeros trick situation. So to do the zeros trick, multiply the numbers that are not zeros. 9 times 2. 9 times 2 is 18. Count the zeros. That's 3. Stick on 3 zeros at the end. You just use the zeros trick to multiply 2,000 times 9. You're going to love the tons to pounds questions because it's the zeros trick and multiplication. Okay, so 18,000 pounds. I know that seems ridiculous, but that is the accurate answer. So let's record it from our scrap paper to our math book. All right, so let's then catch our breath. Look at number 3. Oh no, I see a fraction. Don't let the fractions scare you. You can handle this. You just have to think like good mathematicians. Okay, so we have 3.5 pounds. We're being asked to convert pounds to ounces. So go back to the conversions chart and just think about this in terms of what you know. 1 pound has 16 ounces. So I'm going to go to my scrap paper to help me figure this out. Okay, I know, let me double check to make sure I'm being accurate. Okay, 3.5 pounds. Okay, so we have 3.5 pounds, and I want to convert them to ounces. So let me deal with the whole number first. There's 16 ounces in each pound, and I know I have 3 pounds. So let me use a multiplication equation. 16 ounces in each pound, 3 pounds, 16 times 3. Okay, so 3 times 6 is 18. Do my regrouping. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. Now I'm not done. I still have to figure out this 1/2. Well, think about this. If 1 pound has 16 ounces, what's half of 16? We talked about this with the solve and share problem. That's 8. So we have 48 ounces from the 3 pounds and 8 ounces from the 1/2 pound. So to get our final answer, we then have to do addition, where we have to add 48 plus 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16, 4 plus 1 is 5, and we get the final answer of 56 ounces. Okay? So, number 4, last one we're going to do together in the video. We have 17 pounds. We're going to ounces. Okay? So, we know we have 17 pounds. We know there's 16 ounces in each pound. So, we're going to set up a multiplication equation. And guys, remember, you're always allowed to use your calculators. Okay? I'm just writing this out because it's easier for me to write it on paper than it is to bounce out of here back to my calculator. Okay? So don't be intimidated by this two-digit multiplication. We did this, okay? And if you want to go back to the turtle head method, that's the way to do it, okay? So 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 4. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So we already used that. Okay, so coming over here, 1 times 7 is 7. Oh, I forgot my placeholder. I forgot to lay the egg. 1 times 7 is 7. There we go. 1 times 1 is 1. Final step is to do the addition. And we get the final answer of 272 ounces. Great idea to check that with the calculator. Okay, so now that we've done numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4 together, I'm going to ask you to try some of these on your own. So for today's independent practice, we want you to try numbers 5, 6, 7, and 8. Number 13, trying to fill in this table, okay, filling in each box. And on the back of the page, we want you to try number 20 and number 22. Remember, you have a conversions chart available to help you, okay? So take advantage of the conversions chart that is on the visual learning page, okay? Take your time, do really great work.